Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Prime here. Welcome back to another album review. It's been a while. I've been gone. I've been trying to fix myself, fixing the mental. But today's a very special day. A very special day for me. Because an album that I have been anticipating has finally dropped. And I am, of course, talking about this new Bruno Mars Anderson Paak collaboration entitled Silk Sonic. The record is entitled An Evening with Silk Sonic, with a special guest host Boosty Collins. Now, before we get into the review, I'm going to go ahead and talk about a few things. Number one, I have a new song out. I, in fact, have a bunch of new songs. I've been doing a song every Friday in November, and that will continue happening. So I will leave the links to my various songs in the description below. And also subscribe to the channel and leave a like. I'd say to leave a dislike, but I think YouTube's getting rid of those. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start talking about this brand new record. So I'll be looking over here. I have a set of notes that I have written down for this video while I kind of talk about it. And just so you guys kind of understand my thoughts on each song if you haven't watched one of these before. And we're going to start with the Silk Sonic intro. This is how it starts. It's a short brass-led instrumental backing, some kick, clap percussion, like that's just an example of one. It's not the fucking Queen rhythm, but you get what I mean. And some smooth jazz drum fills. It's super peppy instrumental, and it gets you into the mood of what the rest of the record has in store. And Boosty Collins appears in the intro, and with his smooth, old-fashioned voice from the R&B vocalist, he sets the narrative of this is a band that he helped put together in a small jazz club in some city anywhere around. Normally, you'd want to put this style of music you'd normally hear on the East Coast, somewhere in New Orleans or Miami even, or New York, or Charlotte, or any number of those places. And it kicks into the first single from this project, Leave the Door Open. It's a slow, lounge-style instrumental, reminiscent of the 70s. It's got some great versions from Anderson .Paak about courting a woman who he met at this place. And Bruno Mars kind of comes in and helps build up the climaxes in the chorus with a super angelic hook. And the song ends in a massive surge of sound and a huge hit with everyone from Paak on set to Mars on the keys, to the rest of the Free Nationals band on the variety of instruments that they played. You saw the music video. I don't have to tell you. But if you haven't, I'll leave a link to it up here. And it's this huge, grand kind of presentation. And it fades away at the impact point, which is something you only see really in like older school songs. If you notice, a lot of songs nowadays, they fade out, but not during an impact. This is like, they're singing, the band is in full, and it's fading out while they're in the hit. And you don't really see that often nowadays. And then we kind of get led into the track quite smoothly, called Fly Is Me. Incredibly smooth and hooky bass guitar driven melody, lots of hand percussion integrated throughout, congos, castanets, all these sorts of things. Song about being stylish and smooth with a romantic interest. Super funky tune with a hip hop twist with fast flows and sharp lyrics from Anderson. And while Bruno mostly takes the back seat on this one, he sings under Anderson most of the time. Anderson hits both verses and the bridge, or I guess three verses. I don't know if it is a bridge or not, but it's I'm going to say three verses. He hits all three verses. Super quick, lickety-split, speedy flows. But they're not like, Eminem, Rap God, Godzilla flows. They just double time the instrumental, and it helps you get into like more of a dance and groove, and it's a lot more faster paced. And then we get into the track After Last Night, which features the only guest appearances on the entire record, with Thundercat and Boosty Collins as well, even though he's sprinkled throughout the entire thing. He's given the feature credit on After Last Night because he's sprinkled in throughout the chorus and in a couple of the verses. Thundercat plays bass guitar throughout this. It's a smooth, sensual cut in a New York soul format, something you'd hear in a jazz club back in the day. Synths decorate the melody throughout this piece with low-key playing. Smooth and silky bass lines from Thundercat. Oh my god, they're so good. They reinforce that slow dance and feel. And Boosty Collins' vocal snippets, even though I've never really been a fan of his voice, they surprisingly add to the song's overall old school and underground vibe. And it makes listening to the song a lot more enjoyable. And there's a key change around the 3-minute mark. I don't remember how long the song is. The song is 4 minutes and 9 seconds. So around the 3-minute mark, there's a key change there and an electric guitar plus trumpet featured to make the track even brighter than previously. And it's all about, after last night with a girl, they're kind of like reflecting on it and all that. And there's even a woman at the beginning of the track that's like, I don't even know who I was last night. And it's a really good track as well. And then we've got Smoking Out the Window, the third single to be released from this project, I believe, a fortnight ago at this point. Super tongue-in-cheek, smooth jazz cut instrumental with an R&B twist. Fantastic drum fills throughout this entire piece. And I'm going to, throughout this entire record even, I'll talk about it more and more, but the drum filling on this record is amazing. It's so good. I just realized this mic is lighting up my face. God damn. Great verses from Bruno and Anderson, laced with humor and wit. Nothing really much to say about this thing. This one, I love the way he goes, "This bitch!" Like he really, I love the way it kind of hits, and it's really nice. And next we got one of the only really slow and sadder ballads on this thing. It's a slow dancing ballad. And it's a song about always smiling and trying to be happy for your partner, and you're only happy when they're around, and it's a different level of happiness, and that's what the song's about. It's lustrous grand piano playing, lovely interpolation of a more lovely fucking English, lovely incorporation. We're gonna say that word instead. More abstract percussive elements like congas, like bongos, like castanets. Things like that aren't normally used too much in modern music. I love the way the song sounds. Grand build up towards the end with heavenly singing from Bruno. Heavenly singing. This is taking me back to that, I'll catch a grenade for it. Even better than half the songs on that record, whatever that fucking record's called. Doo-Wops and Hulu is so much better than half of the riffs on that, half of the, actually better than all the singing on there. I'm gonna be real here. It's one of his most powerful vocal performances I've ever heard. And Anderson does contribute to the song. I'm not saying he doesn't do anything. He does contribute, but Bruno steals the show in a way that, like Anderson stole it on Fly. Why do I always forget this? Fly Is Me, that's the name of the song. Why am I being an idiot? While he kind of steals the show on Fly Is Me, Put on a Smile is the Bruno Mars show. He really brings it home. And a lovely rain sample at the end to close out a song. And, kind of close out as it begins with they talk about, begging in the rain, kind of like how in 70s and 80s movies, there'd always be in a room, or always end with like someone begging in the rain for love, for forgiveness, kind of a throwback to that era. Next we move into the track 777, which is one of the most interesting sounding cuts here. Super distorted guitar melody to start the song off. And it kind of goes into being panned to the right side, but it's still always there. Like, kind of like that, I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it. It's incredibly distorted, but it's really nice. It's a fast-paced hip-hop and fast jazz fusion. It's incredibly minimal instrumentally compared to a lot of the other tracks here, but it doesn't make the song worse or slap any less. It's still a great song. Big brass hits for the trumpets and trombones. Add some nice ear candy in the hits of the song. Once again, a fantastic set playing, particularly the fills. The fills on this track are fantastic, and I love the screamed and the half screamed and half shouted vocals at the end as well. And Bruno drifts closer a little bit more to Anderson's style here, and they trade lyrics and very nicely, and it all fits together in a nice way that I didn't expect it to. And then we move into the second single and the penultimate track here, Skate. It's once again, it's a more another unicorny style song in the sense that it's more of a disco feel, smooth, heavily disco, driven almost entirely by guitars. No percussion besides the set in this one. Actually, I say no percussion. There's a glockenspiel, but no unpitched percussion besides the set. This one at any capacity. Orchestral strings and glockenspiels sprinkled throughout the pre-chorus and the chorus. It adds a lot of ear candy, which is really nice. Once again, as I said, no real unpitched percussion besides the set, almost entirely driven by that bass and guitar melody and harmony, and it has the kind of feeling of you're in a rollerblading arena in the 80s, and with the instrumental choices, the style of singing, it's quite easy to see that comparison. And then lastly we get into the song. We get into the song Blast Off, which is the closing track. And there is, God, this might be one of my favorite cuts ever as like a piece of art. It's got a piano and drum set filled beginning with like dabs of orchestral strings, castanets, and the chorus and it's a quite soft song to start within the verses. The choruses get a little louder. The first chorus gets a little louder, added synths, a very light kind of weird siren sample, vibraphones on a glockenspiel. Second verse, a little bit more powerful, a couple of miniature hits thrown in at the end of the verse, then going back into the hook with more orchestral strings added like you had in the beginning. And then there's an instrumental break with a nutty guitar solo. I don't know who's playing it. Maybe someone from the Free Nationals, maybe Bruno Mars. I don't know, but someone is doing a nutty electric guitar solo. There's these laser synths that get added in, a quick drum set filling to drive the rhythm, and then after that kind of solo gets thrown in, the solo gets a little bit softened, and then you get more Anderson and Bruno vocals added onto it and make it even larger and huger. And then from this point, about halfway through, or a little bit more than halfway through, I think, I could be incorrect, and from here you kind of get these several short peaks and valleys, and eventually leading to a percussionless ending. No percussion at all. No set, no nothing. And around the 4-minute mark as well, there's a key change, making the song sound even more heavenly. It's more of a major key change. I don't know what the key was originally, but it sounds more major here. It's so lovely. And now instead of being led by that set, the set gets taken out. You still have a piano and get in a different key, and then you get orchestral strings added on top of it with some bass guitar at the very, very, very back end of the song. Give it that last little punch before Bootsy Collins closes out the album with The Night. And that is the record. It's a very short record. It's really short, 31 minutes and change. It's really, really, really not that long. Yeah, 30 minutes and change. 9 tracks, 8 if you don't count the intro. Every song on here besides 777 is over 2 minutes. And it's a goddamn work of art, guys. Like, I tweeted about it. I didn't want to make any more videos until like December, like the new year. But this was just so perfect. I had to make a video on it. I am blown away by every single track on this thing. I listened to it in 3 contexts in my car this morning. I listened to it on my Echo Dot. I have an Echo Dot over there that I listen it to, and I listen to it on the phone as well and on the headphones. I have 4 different lists that I haven't been able to stop listening to this record. This record is amazing. Every song on here is a hit. Every song on here is good. Every song on here has potential to become a classic. And I think this album is going to be a classic. When we look back years later in 2030, 2040, when we look back, we're going to look back at this record right here, and we're going to say, this is an old-fashioned, this is a album with 2 artists from different time periods. You got Bruno Mars kind of blowing up in the late 2000s, early 2010s, and Anderson .Paak, who got his career started in the late 2010s. They come together and they throw back to sounds and styles that way preceded them, from the 70s, from the 80s, some 90s influence, but mostly we're sticking to that 70s, 80s genre, and even a little bit of 60s. Very, 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 very little bit of like late 60s kind of rock elements kind of thrown in there, songwriting wise. But they've done it with incredibly smooth vocals, catchy hooks, great instrumentation, and throughout all of it, I didn't cringe once, I wasn't bored once, I was hooked in at every single opportunity. There was not one song here that I think they could have reworked. Not a single one. I know you guys are waiting for the rating. I want to just talk this up because this will be the only one I give, I think, in a long time. I have never gone into a record and liked every single one. I've liked a lot of songs from a record, but never every single one from 2 mainstream artists. Not even from both these guys, biggest records. 24 Karat Magic, I didn't like it. I only liked about half the tracks off of. If we're going to Anderson Pot Oxnard, I only liked really half the tracks off of that. But this is different. This is a cultural touchstone where you add older ideas and mix them with modern and contemporary production and sounds. You mix them together, done tastefully, done beautifully, done well. This album is a perfect 10 out of 10. Strong 10 on this one. That is going to be it for me. If you guys want to check out any more of my videos, you can go ahead and click the button right here. But if you do want to subscribe, you can go ahead and click right here, or right down below there should be a little thing that you can press, that little button that says subscribe. You can press that as well. You can also go ahead and like the video if you wouldn't mind. I would really appreciate that. And let me know what your thoughts on the record are. This is a really high profile release. I'm very curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are on the record. Am I overhyping it? Am I underhyping it? I don't think I can be underhyping it, but am I underhyping it? Am I spot on? What are your rankings? Let me know all that down in the comments. Take care. My name is Prime, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Take care, and goodbye.